about. He talked about social media and social media is a good thing. Social media is a way to certainly communicate to everybody out there, but it's not the only thing. So a lot of people sort of get busy with social media thinking that maybe that they've done their job, but they haven't talked to anybody. So it's just one of the pillars. It's not all the pillars, right? That's he talked about that. It's funny in US, he's saying the US economy is doing very, very strong. He said the US economy is on fire. So that's good news too. Um, I read this morning as well that electricity is going to be a problem in the future, right? You guys have heard of Bitcoin and all that kind of stuff. Apparently, Bitcoin to do this data mining, and it takes up a lot of electricity, a lot of computer time. And now with all these new cars coming in, and the cars that are all electric, and I don't know. So the heat pumps, everybody's electric. So
Should we go back to gas?
yeah, should go back to gas or back to hydrogen or something. I don't know. Toyota's not making electric cars, they're making hydrogen cars, but I'm not sure what energy it takes to create the hydrogen itself. So I don't know, there's always a yin and the yang, right? US economy on fire. Getting listings in the spring market. Don't lose sight of getting listings. Don't hide behind social media. Focus on uncovered listing opportunities. Top 10 tips. So top 10 tips he had was your CRM system. We talked about that a million times, but it's still very, very important. But I know a lot of people, once they go through their 50 contacts, 100 contacts, then now what, right? So you still have to other things too. Again, it's another pillar. Social media, past client, CRM is a social media, but CRM is very, very important. You should be keeping contact in that. Phone contact, he talked about being important. He says you don't text somebody how you doing, you pick up the phone and phone them. I'm looking at faces here, so I don't know. Do people hide behind this, or you're pulling up people, all right? Buyer profiles, and that's a good thing. You got a buyer that wants to buy a bungalow somewhere in Scarborough, and then you phone the neighborhood and say, "I got a buyer for your neighborhood." That's what he's talking about there. So you do buyer profiles and find out what you've got there, and you can do it. Geo farming, I've talked about this for probably the last 4 or 5, 6 weeks. Geo farming is still very, very important. I get this stuff here every day in my mail. You probably do too. Doesn't matter who it is. I get shivs, or I get this guy here, I get other people, and every day it's once a week. Right? I remember years ago, have you guys ever been home and somebody's knocked on your door, let's say a politician's knocked on your door and asked for your vote? Everybody had that? You guys remember that individual that knocked on your door? Do you remember the individual, the face? You can remember the face, remember the person, right? Probably knocked on your door 20 years ago, and you probably still remember today. I do, right? So just sending this stuff out and not doing the door knocking itself makes such a big impression. So when they are thinking about selling and they get this in their mail and you knock on their door, then there's a good chance that they're going to maybe call you in at least to get a second opinion, something like that. So you have to do both at the same time. Open houses. When you talked about open houses, we have an open house systems for success. When you do an open house, you're just not going to do it. Do the open house, sit there and watch TV. You're actually going to go in there and invite the neighbors. You're going to plan it, be ahead of the times. Who did open houses this weekend? One, two, just one person? No, one, two. And this is the prime time for open houses, by the way. How many people did you have?
11 on Saturday and 17.
423 people. Holy crap!
No, we had 28 altogether.
28 people. 28 people over the weekend. Holy smokes, right? And then there's 28 people that you never met before. How many of those had their own buyers? Or sorry, had their own agents?
7.
Okay. And what he talked about here is I remember another agent telling me about that too, that when you ask the buyer on an open house, or you're working with another agent, who asked that question? Is that the right question?
Then I preface it with, you can write down fake information if you want.
All right. Chances are they have a brother or sister or a past agent, but they haven't signed any contract. They're not dealing with them. They're not there. So there is an opportunity, even though they tell you they're working with somebody else, they're probably not. Or maybe they are, but not under contract. That's what he was suggesting there. Expired listings, we're not allowed to do expired listings. Now, just in Canada, just so you know, just to keep it clear about expired listings in Ontario, probably Canada, we're not allowed to use an MLS system to target expired listings. That's what's against the law. It's not against the law to go after expired listings. It's against the law to target expired listings through MLS. That's what's against the law. No reason why you can't, if you drove by a house and the sign was on that house, you drove by that house every day, all of a sudden the sign's gone. There's no reason why you can't stop in that house, knock on the door and say, what happened to your son? Right? That you're not phone calling, it's not the do not call list. You can door knock anybody you want. So there are ways you can do it. Just you can't use the MLS system to identify them. That's the law. For sale by owners, there's a lot of guys out there for sale by owners that are hiding behind things like Property Guys or ICI World or who are the other guys out there nowadays? These guys here are for sale by owners. They paid these guys a couple $1,000 to put the listing on MLS, and that's it. But beyond that, they're still MLS, and on the listing it says contact the seller. Here's his phone number. Right. So there you go. Derelict homes. You don't see too many derelict homes in Canada. Down the States, you see quite a bit. Down Buffalo and Detroit and through the South, there you see all these places that are derelict. But in Canada, you don't see that often. Orphan neighborhoods. That's a different word for a new neighborhood. We've always said that when people buy in a new neighborhood, they're buying off a plan. They're either going to buy it to flip it. This is about new construction. We're talking about condos, we're talking about houses here, right? Townhouses. They're buying that house to either live in, likely, or to flip it, or to make an investment, or maybe they moved in and they bought off plans and the rooms, like the kid's room is too small or their room's too small, or they bought a house with a fence and another neighbor's can decide on the right fence to get. All different reasons why people sell in a new complex, new subdivision. It's definitely a place you may want to consider farming if that's what you want to do. Backup business, that's something different. A lot of guys would sit on new home sites, and the new home builders would pay that agent $500, $1,000 to sell the houses that he's selling. But the only reason why the agent would do it is for the people that bought these houses have a backup. They have a property to sell before they buy these properties, so they're betting on getting that business versus the builder business. Just so you know how all that goes. Good. That was that. So anybody that missed it, that was the 2-minute thing, but here it is. So again, open houses 20. Did you get anybody sacked at potential clients?
Yeah, someone actually emailed me.
Somebody actually emailed you, okay. Yeah. And when you do your emails, do you use high tech or low tech? Just like sign a piece of paper, here it is.
Sign a piece of paper.
And you have an organized piece of paper, just lines?
Yes. I use the one from the office.
And you tell them that you can lie if they want, you don't care?
I feel like it breaks down.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of fun, right? So you make this here. I want you to fill, once you fill out this attendance sheet, but you can lie if you want, I don't care. Chances are they won't lie, right?
It didn't seem like it. Maybe like some people try to like scribble their phone number.
Price,
it's a lot of nosy neighbors then.
And you want those nosy neighbors because those are the people that are thinking about selling.
Well, actually, the person who emailed me was someone who was
right. You want the nosy neighbors. So they don't, Has anybody had any work done in their house? Let's say landscaping or kitchen done, and the guys are out there working, and the neighbor knocks on the contractor's door. He can give me a quote for my place too. Same way, no, am I the only one that does that? There's done that. Anyway, so if you've listed a house, the neighbor probably wants to think about listing too somewhere, and who may, because you're there. Anyways, good news. Who has good news?
bad news first.
Bad news first. Last week, actually 2 weeks ago, I guess they decided not to increase the interest rates. Interest rates are still at 5%, like the posted rate, that's fine. And then last week they came out with the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, and it came in at 2.8%. So it's actually down from February's 2.9. So it's going the right direction. Reason why it went down, believe it or not, is because the cost of gas went down. But then I heard this morning the cost of gas is going to go up when they switch over to the summer gas. So I don't know about that. So it's still hanging around that 2.8. So it's going the right direction. They actually projected to be about 3.1. So when it came in at 2.8, that's like 0.3 better than what they thought. But that's good news then, right?
Who was Chris Leader saying that they're talking about decreasing by 200 basis points?
I didn't
Who's saying that?
part of the states. I don't know here. So no, who's either. The next hike or the next deduction? I think it's next month.
Yeah.
April 10th. And if it did go down, which you, Rand's here, I still don't think it's gonna go down. I still think 2.8, even though it's better than 3.1, it's still not 2.5. No, they're very limited. Right? We're saying June. Everybody's saying that the start of the third quarter, maybe. Anyways, but it is saying here that interest rate cuts likely over the course of the years. The Bank of Canada says that. So Bank of Canada says likely we'll see a deduction by the end of the year, but it's not going to be gigantic. I just did something that was odd. I've done this before. Maybe Rand can do it too, but we're talking about the cost of homes and how people would buy a condominium, how the condominium is a cheaper place to buy than a house. Like for first time buyers. Would that be true? Like first time buyers going to be cheaper than a freehold? Who knows, right? Because they're saying here now, when a condominium sells from a builder, what are they quoting as being the condominium fees? 50 cents per square foot per month? Is that what they quote? And as soon as the place gets registered, it jacks up to 60 cents. And then right now, the average rent for condominiums, the average price per square foot per month for condominiums for maintenance fees is about 85 cents. And the average the average fee for condominiums is around, for two-bedroom condos, around $680 a month. Some of the 2 bedrooms, the 3 bedrooms can get up to $1,000 a month. So now it's getting pretty expensive. So if you've got a condominium that you're buying, let's say you're buying an $800,000 condominium. I'm just going to do it off the top of my head just to make the point. But if you're buying an $800,000 condominium and you're putting 20% down, $160,000 down, you're left with a 640 mortgage at 5.1, which is kind of high. Got Brand here. So what's your 5%? Let's say for a 3-year fix.
Let's say 5%.
Okay, let's do 5.1 just to make my point. So 5.1% on a 600 and the monthly payments, $3,400 a month, plus the $600 for maintenance, $4,000 a month for someone who's 20% down. They can rent that place for $2,500. Right?
680 is only $100,000.
Right? So that's interesting, right? So if you've got first-time buyers out there, maybe swing them over to the freehold townhouses, swing them over to the POTLs. Maybe that might be an option to consider doing that, right? But I thought that was a sort of a hard number there that when you write it down, you think, holy crap. Investors, we've said this before, investors own 23.7% of Ontario homes, says this report. I've said that for what? Since 2021, we said that 1 in 4 properties being sold are being sold to investors. So that means 1 in 4 of your clients are investors. So you may want to consider maybe the thing's tapped out, maybe it's time to cash out, maybe it's time to sell those places. So you want to talk to those clients and see what they're at with that. I want to test your memory here. Did I not say, I haven't got it in front of me here, did I not say 2 weeks ago that the new homes, there was like a month of inventory, like whole flood of inventory? You remember me saying that? Like months of inventory was like 8 or 10 or something there, like that all inventory sitting here because no one wanted to buy particularly condominiums. Now they're saying here that the new home supply in GTA reaches levels not seen since 2016. So because the government's telling all these builders, go ahead, build, even though there's been a lot of condominiums that have been held up, a lot of these builders are going ahead and building, but nobody's buying. So now they've got a problem where they're starting to get more inventory than they've had in the past. Well, that's strange. And the standing inventory right now is 20,000 homes, of which 16,000 are condominium and 3,000 are freeholds or non-condominium. So that's a big situation they've got going on, and they're blaming the interest rates and saying that the interest rates are too high, and that's why the builders themselves are having a hard time. So Ontario government wants to build, what, 1.5 million new homes in the next 10 years, and then they can't get rid of what they already have. So, curious. They are saying also that the first time buyers are bringing on bidding wars. Have you seen any bidding wars in the $1 million range? Look at Nelson here, so. Alright, so they're engineered multiples. Okay. I did some numbers here, and of the sales we've had already for the first 24 days in March, 24% of the condominiums sold for more than 101% of the asking price. I didn't do 100, 101%. So 24% of all condominiums are selling for 101% or more over asking. So that's a strategy you have to think about. Freeholds, 49% of the property sold for 101% or more in the first 24 days. So the strategy for freeholds is price low, hold off offers. That's what everyone else is doing. So almost 50% of all properties right now are being sold over asking price. And that's not because the market's hot, it's because it was strategically priced low. I'll go to sales right now. So we've got 15,400 active listings. Still going up around about 600 active listings per week. Of the 15,000, there's 7,500 are condos, 8,000 are freeholds. Owner occupied, just another little, doesn't mean anything, but owner occupied for condominiums. Of the 7,500, there's 2,600 are owner occupied, or 35%, meaning 65% of the condominiums are not owner occupied, meaning that they're tenanted or they're investment. So again, if you've got clients that bought the condominium game, looks like they're selling now, so you want to contact those people. Owner occupied overall is about 33%. Owner occupied on freeholds are about 39%. So actually a little bit more on freeholds or owner occupied rather than investment properties. Active listings for leases, about 14,000, about 8,600 condos, 5,100 would be freeholds. Sales for leases are actually up 3% from for the first 24 days last year. Condos are up 12%. Freeholds are actually down 4%. The sales for properties in the first 24 days compared to last year, condos are down 7%. Everything's down 3%. Freeholds are about the same as last year. So last March, just to recall, last March wasn't the best month, but it was all right. There's still about 5,000 sales in March. But at the end of March last year is when they started jacking up the rates, and that's when the market tanked. So if you yourself are thinking, gee, this year's not as good as last year, it's because the interest rates dropped in March. Increased in March. How many increases do we have last year, March? At least 2 anyways. And the market, because the market was doing so well in March, and then they jacked up the rates and the market died. So here we are today. I think once the rates people get used to the rates, and once they start to down a little bit, then you see the market turn around quite a bit. But that's, if you find yourself that, things are a little tough this year versus last year, the only reason it's interest rates. It's all it is, because there's still people out there. New listings up in February, that's fine, as 15,000 we talked about. Toronto right now, they came with another rule for rooming houses. I'm not sure we get involved too much with rooming houses, but in the parts of the city like Scarborough, North York, East York, rooming houses were not allowed, but now effective at the end of this month, rooming houses will be allowed in all of Toronto, provided that they conform with the building codes. This can't be fill a house full of people there. As long as the building code's okay, then they can do rooming houses in these areas as well as downtown. So if you come across that. Going back to interest rates again. Prices have dropped since 2022. Everybody's okay with that? Average price for an overall property in February 2022 was $1.330 million, $1.3 million, right? What's today's average price? All properties, all times? What's today's average price? How much? Yeah, you're close. Yeah, overall. Yeah, good for you. Thank you. So it's still down about 20%, down about 18% from last year, or from the peak. So the average is about 1.1, 1.1050. It's in around that share of down here someplace, but the target, the peak was 1.3 million, and today it's about 1.1, let's say. So it's a $200,000 drop. But unfortunately, when you bought that house, if you bought that $1.3 million house in the peak, your interest rate at that time would have been about 1.45%. Today, that interest rate is 5.9. So to buy that same house, 22 versus today, just so you know what's going on, if you've got sellers out there. If you bought in February of 22, the average price back then for overall properties 1.334. That's the actual average price for all properties. If you put 20% down, the mortgage amount would be 1.067. A 5-year rate at the time was 2.89%, variable rate 1.45. So if you were to take a 5-year fix, so a 5-year fix at the time was 2.89. So the payments then would be, rats, they didn't do that. Anyways, the payments are about $40,000. Yeah, okay, here it is. So February, at that rate, with the same down payment, 20% down, the mortgage payment then would be $5,000 a month. And the mortgage payment today, based on February 23rd, based on 1.108, and interest rate at 5.29, the payment is $5,300. So it's actually cheaper today than it was in 2022. So everybody says, well, I want the price to drop. What's cheaper today than it was, right? Anyway, so that's that. That makes sense. Are we okay with this American stuff and that? Compass Real Estate decided to settle, like this is the US talking about that commission cutting stuff. Has anybody clients asked about that? Has anybody clients say, well, I hear that these rates are gonna drop and your clients will hear things are gonna change, right? Compass agrees to pay a $57 million fee, but what they've agreed to do, it still has to be approved by the courts, but what they've agreed to do is make it more easily understand how brokers and agents are compensated for their services. So in Canada, we already have our listing agreement. We already say it's 5% commission, 2.5% to us, 2.5% to co-op. We're already saying that. States it every day. Commission clients, okay, clearly disclose that the commissions are negotiable and not set up by law. We know that already. Our commissions here are not set by law. They're totally negotiable. The services of an agent who represents the home buyers are not free. So if anybody said to a buyer, you work with me, it doesn't cost you anything, it's really not true because you know, the seller's paying the commission with the money that the buyer gives them. Home buyers disclose right away if any offer compensation by the broker represents the seller. So they have to disclose right away whether or not they're getting paid from the seller and from the buyer. So standard thing, we're doing all these things already. But I don't think it's going to have a big impact on us. It's just, we're just doing things already. I don't think we're having any lawsuits. I don't think it's going to come down to that, but we've been wrong before, right? Another thing to talk to your clients about would be interest rates. 60% of outstanding mortgages right now are facing a payment shock in the next 3 years. This is RBC report. So they're saying that a lot of people that bought 3 years ago or even 5 years ago are starting to come up with renewals, and they're gonna have a sticker shock. And their average they're saying here is that people that have to renew their mortgages can expect to pay on average 33% more per month. So that may affect somebody's living. It may affect the fact that you can afford the house or not afford the house. But these are conversations that you want to have with your client. Just say, oh, by the way, when does your mortgage come up? Has anybody here sold somebody a house 5 years ago and the mortgage comes up this summer? Right? Are you talking to those people? Is it these things that other than yourself? Right? But have conversations with them, what to do. Cottage country, the price is apparently set to rise again. They're expecting the 5% increase in cottages. I don't know if anybody has any cottage business up there. No, huh? On the commercial side, there is a building at 180 Duncan Mills, not too far from the Duncan Mills office there. It's just down the street. It was, just so you know, an idea what prices are going for. 145,000 square foot office building, looked to be about six or seven stories tall. Sold for $28 million. It works out to $200 per square foot for funding. So if you just want to get a basic idea, rule of thumb, what are not condominiums, but office buildings themselves, for $200 a square foot. To build that building today, it costs probably $500-600 a square foot. You could build that. Gardner Expressway, as anybody's noticed, it's closed both east and west for the next 3 years. Gardner Expressway between Strawn and Dufferin, 2 lanes, 1 lane each way are closed for the next 3 years. Next 3 years. Next 3 years. So I found a new way downtown. If anybody's driving downtown, the way I go downtown now is the best. I take Avenue Road. Avenue Road straight down to University, and it cuts the time in half. Anybody else do that? You guys are doing that too? All right, and now, so we've got fire up event I want to talk about. Is everybody okay with Tressa? Well, I saw you talking downstairs on Tressa. Is it? Yeah. Multi-representation.
I think that turned out
So the only confusion now with Teresa would be the multi-representation, which is still allowed, but you just have to be careful, not careful, you just have to know who represents who. In most cases, the brokerage hopefully is going to be representing both parties, but you may have an agent that put their name on there and they're the designated rep, either the buyer side or seller side, and that's the case, it will change what the multi-representation says. You just have to read it, it's there, right? But it's still multi-representation. Treb came out here saying contents of written agreements. We've talked about this before. Your listing agreements have a Schedule A. The Schedule A says anything you promise to do. So what Trev's trying to tell us here is that the date the agreement came in effect and when it expires. So we're doing that already. The method to determine remuneration payable to the brokerage when working with a seller, payable to any other broker. So you're already putting 2.5% to cooperating broker. If by chance you say to that client, if I sell it myself, I'll only charge you 2.5% or 3%, that has to be on the Schedule A. That's the type of stuff that goes in Schedule A. If you say that I'm gonna supply the staging, I'm gonna pay for staging, that goes in Schedule A. If your client's gonna pay for staging and you're gonna reimburse them if it sells, that goes in Schedule A. So whatever policy you have, that's what the Schedule A is for. It goes on and says here that terms are related to the termination of the agreement. So this is they put that as a summary on this thing here. So it says very clearly, it says terms related to the termination of the agreement. That's what Travis told us. But read the act. The act says the terms are related to the termination of the agreement, if any. They left those 2 little words off on your instructions, if any. In my word, there is no, we don't cancel listen, so there is nothing there that says it. So don't worry with that part. Huh? Okay, so we did our session on Wednesday, I guess it was. Yeah, Wednesday was last Wednesday. I thought the venue was nice. I went to that venue, the Cedarbrae Golf Course was nice there. And how about the course itself? The Cameron sort of he made it low tech. We didn't make it high tech at all. It was low tech. And they did the listing presentation, and Katelyn's putting together now for you. She's putting the video together as well as the handouts that you may have. If you weren't there, you didn't do it. But if you were there, you did that QR code and took the information that they had as well as the listing presentations. One thing we did about the listing presentation, we've always created them so you can actually go in there and go to your Google Drive and put your name on there and customize and put your picture and so on and so forth. And I asked, well, how many people do that? I asked everybody, how many people here did that? There'll be like 3, right? So what did everybody else do? So I said, let's create something that you don't have to do that. Let's just print and go. So that's what we created, a print and go. So it doesn't have your name on it. If you want to customize it later on, you can, but just for those agents that just can't get around that, use the office listing presentation with the office names on it, and away you go. right? So we don't have to worry about cut and paste and pictures and all that stuff. It's all there. The client doesn't know anyways, because you're reading it yourself. The client doesn't see this. You look at your own face and your own name. You see my phone there? So if you like looking at yourself and your name picture, that's fine. Put it on there. Otherwise, just use the listen presentation and remember it, right? The other thing we did is we created a checklist. Just okay, rather than doing like a 30-page or 20-page listing presentation, which maybe you do, maybe you don't, we boiled down a checklist. And on the checklist, and we'll send this to you, it says, what are your goals? This is you talking to the client, right? So you just have that sitting there. Mike Ferry talks about this too. Mike Ferry says, have your script and read your script to your client, right? What are you trying to memorize everything? Just forget stuff. Just read the checklist. Just like a pilot would read a checklist before he takes off. So number one, what are your goals? Like with the 5 questions: who, what, why, where. Like, where are you moving? What's your motivation? I always ask that when somebody has a property for sale and the client comes, or the agent comes to me or Nelson and starts talking about the client, the listing, or else. The question we always ask is, what's their motivation? Why are they moving? And if we find out they want to get their $2 million price, and if they don't get it, they're not going to sell, then the motivation is not real high. But if they got a job transfer, or they got to move somewhere quick, or some babies or something like that, then it's more urgent. Then the conversation is different, all right? So you want to know why they're moving. Introduce yourself. Why me? Why do you want to hire me? Anybody know that? You guys have an elevator pitch? Why me? Hmm? Anyways. Why us? The brokerage, the team. So if you're a brand new agent and haven't got a history of sales or else, then you can use the broker. You can say broker's been around for 45 years. The brokerage does this. You can use the brokerage as being your source, right? What's your role? What's preparing advice, marketing the property, answering questions from agent, buyers, feedback calls, follow-ups, potential buyers, negotiations, managing listing activity, paperwork, and ensuring a smooth closing. Admin support. I mean, how do you book appointments? These are things you can't take for granted. The fact that somebody can book appointments and we keep track of everybody that books appointments, those people that are selling expensive homes, they know you've got track. You know who's been through the house, their names, their phone numbers, you know everybody. These are security reasons, right? People might be concerned about that. Broker records around here, Nelson, myself, Jenny, to help you guys along. Preparing the property, the junk and things like that, promoting the property, pricing the property, and then signing the contract. So that's your listing run then. So you do the whole thing or do that, you know, have in your head, and that's what we talked there. We'll be seeing very soon. Sweet old Mike Ferry. Mike Ferry does have a session on April 2nd and 4th. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So it'll be the full day the 2nd, full day the 3rd, half day 4th. It's going to be at the airport area. It's $395 US. If you are struggling, or if you don't know what to say, or you haven't got scripts, or you're looking for direction, or you want to, you know, we can sit there and talk and do this and that. But sometimes when a guy from Las Vegas comes and tells you to do something, then somehow people listen differently from us. So I like Mike Ferry. A lot of people don't. I like Mike Ferry because he's in your face. He tells you what to do, and he doesn't take any crap, right? You get on the phone call. That's what he's doing. But I think that's the best 2.5 days you can spend for $395. April 2nd is next week. So probably send this out to everybody, reminder, unless you guys get it directly. You guys have been getting Mike Ferry stuff directly to sign up for this course? Some people do, some people don't. Are you gonna go soon?
Debating.
You don't have to eat. Mike Ferry is probably 79 years old. So if you ever want to see him live, I hate to say it, but you want to do it sooner than later. but he's got such good information. It's very, very, very strong. All right, and then finally, what do we got? We got April the 22nd is our time. Okay, so who's doing this is just for fun. Who's doing the AI stuff? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I got something here to show you. I don't know if it's going to work or not. It's called Pi, P-I. artificial intelligence. It's not perfect, but it's kind of fun, right? I'm gonna ask it for something. Somebody give me an address, a street address for a property that they're familiar with.
46 White Rock.
Where is that? Okay, Hamilton. Okay, Hamilton. All right, so I know nothing about Hamilton, right? Okay, what number? Sorry, I have to write down. What is the CMA value for 46
White Rock.
White Rock Avenue, Hamilton, Ontario?
Sorry, Claire. I still couldn't find any information about the CMA value for 46 White Rock Abbey in Hamilton, Algonquin. Is it possible that this property is not currently on the market, or that it's not listed on the public MLS database? If you have more information about the property, such as the size, number of bedrooms and bathrooms, and any recent upgrades or renovations, I might be able to provide a rough estimate of the property's value based on comparable sales in the area.
So it's a 3-bedroom, finished basement, 40-foot by 100-foot lot, close to the school and transit.
Thanks for providing more details about the property at 46 White Rock Ave in Hamilton, Ontario. Based on the information you provided, here's a rough estimate of the property's value. 3-bedroom, finished basement, 40-foot, 100-foot lot, close to school and transit.
Sorry.
Based on recent sales of similar properties in Hamilton, I would estimate the value of this property to be between $600,000 and $750,000. Keep in mind that this is still just a rough estimate, and the actual value of the property could be higher or lower depending on factors like the condition of the property, any recent upgrades or renovations, and the current market conditions in Hamilton.
Okay, so it's just infancy, right? But you understand what this stuff can do. Isn't that amazing? What is the value of the property? So, but you know what? All they have to do is get the PI, get an AI to read what Home Sigma does. Let's say Home or RE, whatever website you guys use. Is it RE Tracker? What do you guys use? Remarketer? So a lot of these programs will create a CMA for a client. So all they have to do is take that CMA and get the voice to read it and then surprise. So it's weird. Really weird. Okay. So I also asked who uses Chat GPT? I asked it a couple of questions. All right. It says my real estate career is harder than ever. What more can I do to get more clients? Okay. Leverage online platforms. Use social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn to showcase your listing, share information, content about real estate market, engage potential clients, consider creating a professional website, show your services listings. Number 2, networking. Expand your network by attending local real estate events, join professional associations, participate in community activities. Networking can be established connections with other real estate agents, potential clients, industry professionals. Offer value content, create informative content such as blog posts, videos, webinars, address common questions concerning home buyers and sellers. Provide value information, establish you as an authority in the field and can attract potential clients. Build relationships, focus on building long-term relationships with the clients rather than just closing transactions. Provide exceptional customer service, staying in touch with past clients and can lead to referrals for repeat business. Target marketing. Identify your target market, tailor your marketing efforts accordingly, utilize targeted online advertising, direct mail campaigns, email marketing to reach potential clients and who are likely to be interested in your service. Attend open houses is another one. Continue education, ask for referrals, stay persistent and consistent. Mike Ferry charge you $1,000 for that. I thought this was interesting. So what about phone calling or geo farms? I asked it, right? It says cold calling involves reaching out to potential clients who have not expressed interest in your services. It requires a proactive approach and a thick skin as rejection is common. But the computer, it's funny, it distinguished between cold calling and prospecting. Because I just described cold calling. Prospecting, it says, involves reaching out to leads or potential clients who have shown some level of interest, such as inquiries about listings or attending an open house. So those are prospects versus cold calling. So when you tell people to prospect 3 hours a day, we're not telling you to pick up the phone and phone strangers. We're telling you to phone people that you already know. Make sense to them?
What if you don't have 3 hours? What's the problem?
Then you gotta go door knock. Have a clear script, so understand what you're gonna be saying. Personalized approach, demonstrating genuine interest, focus on building rapport, establish trust rather than pushing for a sale, and follow up with consistency. Geo farming, he talks about geo farming, take that, choose a target area, high potential, consistent, people that have lots of turnover. We talked about that. What if I just paid lead generation company to generate leads for me? Is anybody doing that? Nobody's doing that here? So has anybody tried that in the past? And what, just found the leads are too far along, too far away, or?
You tried the website.
Yeah, so I'm talking about, lead like Commission Inc. or Agent
No.
Locator.
Agent locator,
Agent Locator, not good, no.
bad leads.
And then Commission Inc., some people are using that. And then okay, so just so you know, so you can pay these. Okay, so Agent Locator is different than Commission Inc. If you go to Agent Locator, you pay them, they create a landing page which you don't see. You pay them money for AdWords. And somehow they give you these leads once or twice a week. Give you these leads based on how they do it, right? So they're actually buying leads, right? Other guys, they just give you leads, and other guys will give you a web page and have the web page as the landing page and have it land to go to your landing page and try to generate business that way. That's a little bit tougher. Other people use Bold Leads or Boomtown. All those other types of companies out there, they'll just give you leads. You don't know where they came from or how they came from. You don't care. They just give you leads, right? So, but again, the turnover is the closing rate is probably less than 1%. It's probably 3% if you're very good at it. It's probably less than 1%. That's another way of doing it. And they talk about here the cost is expensive, the quality of leads, the competition. They're saying what are the chances that you're the only ones getting that lead? Maybe they give it to 3 other people.
Yeah.
Right. Control, you haven't got any control when you rely on a lead generation company. You may be limited over control and long-term sustainability. While lead generation service can only provide a quick influx of leads, they may not necessarily contribute to the long-term sustainability of their business. Building relationships, establishing your brand, nurturing leads over time are essential components. So it's still going back to the database, still going back to the CRM, even though it's a lead gen thing.
It's have the same lead 6 months later.
The computer's doing it, right? And then I asked this question. So this is the computer I'm talking to, right? I actually said sword. It says I said to the machine, it says, where is the agent's business? No, where do real estate agents come from? What I meant to say, where does real estate agent's business come from? So I said, sorry, I mean, where does the business come from? And it writes back saying, apologies for misunderstanding. So as if we're having a conversation here, right? The sources of business for real estate can vary depending on factors such as location, market conditions, individual marketing strategies. Here are some common sources. Sphere of influence, number 1. Friends, family, neighbors, acquaintances who may turn to the agent for real estate needs or refer them to others. Agents often leverage their personal professional networks to generate leads and referrals. So number 1, sphere of influence. Number 2, repeat clients referrals. Satisfied clients who had a positive experience working with an agent are likely to use their services again in the future or refers others to them. So service is very, very important. Online presence, number 3. Real estate agents establish an online presence through their website, social media profiles, online advertising. Use these channels to showcase listings, share information, content, engage with potential clients, generate leads. Not everybody's in the online world, so these are just things. You don't have to do all the above or one of these. These are just things that saying where business comes from. If you're a social media type person and doing the photos, that's great. If you're not, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. Networking and events. I just talked about Floyd Wickman or not Floyd, Mike Ferry's coming up there. So you go to an event like his. I know what everybody does. Everybody goes to an event like that and they all hang around the people that they know and people from the office. But really, you want to get to know the people from across town. You want to know the guys from Hamilton, the guys from Ottawa, or try to generate a referral business. That's what you're trying to do. Not just there just to talk, right? Open houses are important. Direct marketing. Agents may use direct mail, email marketing, door-to-door canvassing. They call this direct marketing. To reach out to potential clients in specific neighborhoods, demographic groups. Direct marketing campaigns can help agents stay top of mind. Online leads, we talked about that. Local partnerships, cold calling, prospecting was number 9 on this list, looking down at the bottom. And number 10 was past client follow-up.
Number 10 is past time follow-up.
Staying in touch with past clients through email, newsletters, holiday cards, personalized follow-up communications can lead to repeat business referrals over time. Maintaining a strong relationship with past clients is essential for long-term success.
Is that
So I
number
guess,
10?
yeah, because I guess the past client follow-up services you can do with computer, you can do it. You're not spending a lot of time doing that, right? You're sending your newsletters to them. You're sending emails to
No, I
them.
meant it's a personal call.
Personal call, yeah. You want to do that on your past client referrals, repeat clients. So somewhere in your business plan there, besides having all your CM and data, you gotta have some way, like what pillars you're using and what, you know, was it you're doing to generate business? Good. I thought it was a good session. You guys, last Wednesday was a good session. Hopefully you guys.
It was a very good
So,
session.
yeah.
Even though I was not there,
Were you there?
we just had a meeting this morning.
Okay, good.
Very good session.
Nice. Yeah. So, and everything's good, man. So who's got some listings they want to talk about?
Oh, I listed 4 flats. 2 4-plex. Oshawa. Beautiful building, all brick. And 900,000 each flat.
Did you do a cap rate on them? Did you do a cap rate?
So don't be captured in the flat.
No?
Okay, and since it's only 900, where can you find a 4 flats? Beautiful, all brick, nice looking building for 900,000. Expected million for each. But that's a low.
But if I'm an investor, I don't care if it's pretty or not. I don't want to know what return on
No,
my.
but some of the units are rented at low price, they've been there 10 years, so they're rented like $600-700.
Yeah.
And the new ones are rented for $1,500-1,600.
So at $900, am I buying it based on 700 or based on 1700?
Based on existing.
Really? Okay.
So rental income is about $60,000 in each, $5,000 a month. And that's all.
How old are you?
That's what 40 or 50 years old.
What's the NOI?
Oh, I haven't done that. We just got this year. I just told her that put together the information.
Sebastian's brother has a question.
Mhm.
Sebastian.
Better than buying the house with a basement apartment.
Mhm. So just so you know, just people at home, so a $60,000 income, that wouldn't be net income, that'd be gross income, you still have to pay their taxes and whatnot. At
Gotta pay taxes.
900,000 is about 6.7% cap rate.
Which is pretty good.
That means the price should be even higher.
Yeah, we expect million.
Yeah.
75. You should buy it. What was that? I should buy it. I don't need the hassle of 4 flats.
You say it's in Oshawa? So south of 401 north.
I've done.
You
I
don't
only
know?
did once.
Who's there at night? Anyway, so those people at home, there's 2 4-plexes, $900,000 each.
Huh?
You have 2
They're
of them.
two side by side.
Is it South Hospital or not?
I don't know.
That's why I was.
That's gonna make a difference.
I just put it. You will? Okay.
You put
Give me the
approval?
fraction.
Let me get my chat. Let me get my PI.
I don't remember the address. I just put it.
Is it anonymous?
Oshawa.
Is it in anonymous?
It's already listed. We're putting in the market, I think, in a couple of days.
Anybody else have a property they want to talk about?
Sebastian has a question.
Sebastian has a question. Can I answer it?
Huh?
It's an easy question.
Can we review the disclosure rules around someone who has died in a house or a sale?
Disclosure rules for somebody who's died in the house. Okay, so now we have new rules under Teresa. you have the disclosure form. You gotta have that disclosure form, you have to disclose. Your seller does not have any legal obligation to disclose it. Right? The buyer's agent, if the buyer's has a problem with somebody dying in the place, then it's up to the buyer's agent to put a buyer's clause in there regarding deaths.
So if there's no clause, you
I'm,
don't have to
I'm
disclose.
just telling you the law, right? So this is the
If
law.
there's no clause, you don't have to disclose.
No, you have to listen to what I said. The seller does not have to disclose. All right? If the buyer is freaked out about dead people, then the buyer's agent has to put the clause in there saying that there has been no deaths. But as an agent, you have to disclose a late defect.
Unless the sellers can disclose it to us.
If you don't know, it's correct. If you don't know about it, you don't know about it, but you can't lie, right? And you've got to use that form, that disclosure form, that new trusted disclosure form saying that the buyer acknowledges that there was a death.
Can we not put in the Schedule A?
Yeah.
They put the.
Right there, but no, you cannot. You must use the disclosure form. Under
So we
the
have two
trust.
copies, somebody died, they brought the offer, and then we put in there that Schedule A, which is
no.
acknowledged that somebody died with a natural death
Yeah, no,
at the age of 85.
correct. No, that's the new law says, it has to be disclosed, it has to be specific, it has to be obvious, and that's why they created the disclosure form. So I'd use the disclosure form for any offense. Does that answer your question? I think so. The reason why I say that you have to disclose, because the client's gonna say, my lawyer says I don't have to disclose, and the lawyer's absolutely right. But we have our job as registered as a real estate agent, we have to disclose. So don't tell me something I don't want to know. Used to be years ago, we'd have grow up when grow ups were a problem, and we'd have to search and we'd Google and search the address and try to find Google, and I finally clued in. I thought, wait a second, I don't want to know. So don't be
Don't
Google.
tell me that you
Don't
want
tell
to
me
tell
I'm not
other people.
Googling nothing.
They took the property or somebody was staying there, right?
No,
Okay,
the
so
problem-
here's what I get all the time, right? Somebody died in the place, but they died of they're 85 years old and they died of natural causes, so it's no problem. Who decides it's no problem? You or the buyer? It's the buyer who decides when it's a problem, not you. So that's what you have to tell them. So it doesn't matter how they died, when they died. Right?
Somebody died in the house, not in the house. The hospital, they don't have to disclose. Everybody died in that.
I had a cousin of mine describe the death of her husband there, and they died peacefully. They were very religious people. They died peacefully at home in bed, and he was with. She described how she was in bed with him when he died, and he definitely saw anything. I don't want to hear this. Nothing else? Okay, so next, we're closed on Friday. And we're open on Monday, but we won't do a meeting. So, and Friday and Christmas Day and New Year's Day are the only 3 days we're completely closed. So Good Friday, we're completely closed.
Tuesday is Mike Ferry, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
So it's on
3 days.
Tuesday. And so I'll be promoting Mike Ferry. I think, how old's Mike now? 79?
Mike is 78. He's coming from Europe today, like a Monday. After the meeting, they're going back to Europe to do a superstar.
So here's a 79-year-old guy going to Europe, probably Italy, right? Is he still in Italy?
Italy, Spain, different places.
So he's doing Italy, then he's coming today to Toronto
From Monday, he's coming to Toronto, Sunday night. And first day meeting finished, we go back to Europe.
Wow, good for him. 79 years old and he's still doing all that training and whatnot. Right? So good for him. Graham, what do you got doing? Status quo?
I think that would be a good idea to attend Mike Ferry meeting, honestly, it's teaching you exactly what to do, opposed to sit back and look at the computer and that's it.
I'm promoting it too. I mean, for $395 Canadian, or sorry, US,
How much is it?
$395.
Yeah, $500.
I
I can
think
get you discounted. Maybe. Huh?
seriously, if you want to take a course that you pay attention to, I mean, you go to this course here, you want to sit in the front, And if Mike catches you sleeping or on your phone or something there, God forbid, because it could be hell.
I think this will be very good news, honestly.
I don't think it's gonna be one of his last.
Yeah, I think this is one of the best. Course.
He thinks one is last.
I don't know.
Yes, he is selling it.
Why is he still doing it? Why he doesn't have to do it anymore? Why?
No, it's like, what else you gonna do? You gonna die?
Doesn't he have
If you
some-
don't do anything, you're gonna die.
No, competition.
Huh?
Really?
Comp fair.
His son is competition.
Yeah. The competition.
They don't work.
They
But
compete,
he always say, I want your money.
yeah, they compete with each other.
What? So
But
who's gonna take over his business?
Tom and Mike, they compete
Tom
with
is
each other.
totally different. He's all about.
So
social
Tom
media.
won't take over his business?
No, they're completely different.
No, Mike doesn't want his kid to be part of it. What? No. Somebody stand up, say, I'm taking coaching from Tom Ferry, still in the family. And he said, he'll tell you so much about it, he'll swear at you.
Anyway,
have a good
so those
relationship.
folks at home, so do the Mike Ferry thing there, and I think we're done here, so nobody else, okay, folks, we'll carry on here, but those at home, okay, thanks again.
Remember the
See you, not
protection.
next week, we'll see you the week after.
That's not rules.